A mysterious death of a young guy in a student dormitory. Who is responsible for his demise? Don't miss out. The psychics will uncover the shocking secret the student took to his grave. You are watching Psychic Investigations, a project of true and incredible stories. Here, people who call themselves clairvoyants investigate high-profile criminal cases and mysterious paranormal phenomena. This is 17-year-old Ukrainian teenager Pasha Onichenko dancing the last school waltz with his mother, Larisa. Just a few months later, he would become a university student, studying to be a mining engineer, and a year later, he would be gone.
It's so hard without you, baby. Take me to be with you.
Pasha had just completed his first year of studies, and he and his classmates were going to go to do their summer practice. But, as it was later discovered, he never did it. He was found hanged in the dormitory, in the room where he had lived throughout the academic year.
According to the forensics, the young man's death was due to mechanical asphyxiation. The detectives concluded that he committed suicide.
Nevertheless, even a year later, Pasha's parents, Larisa and Serhii, still can't believe that their son could have taken his own life.
We go to the cemetery each Saturday.
Life is no longer life, but mere existence.
The parents can't understand how this could have happened to their son. After all, Pasha dreamed of completing a university degree and taking them to live in the city. Besides, he planned to marry.
We don't believe he could have done it himself. No one believes it. He was such a lively person, always joking, always positive.
He would have never committed suicide.
The bruises they saw on Pasha's body before the funeral only fueled his friends and family's suspicions.
A black eye, a split lip, a bruised chin, and a dislocated thumb on his right hand.
He had a wound on his head.
His face was all bruised.
Almost all the villagers attended Pasha's funeral. They are convinced the boy was murdered. However, the police detectives claim otherwise.
All they cared about was to close the case as soon as possible.
It's impossible that Pasha could have done this to himself.
Besides, Pasha's mother sees her son in her dreams every night, and he keeps telling her he did not take his own life.
He says, "Mom, I never wanted to do this. I really wanted to go, but I failed."
Desperate to find out what really happened to their son, the parents emailed the psychics.
We don't know what else we could do.
Psychics Yakiv Schneyerson and Ilmira Derbentseva take up the case.
When I tune into the boy, I see a struggle. I see someone's hands on his throat. Most likely those hands helped him leave this world.
Was Pasha indeed murdered? But who did it and why?
Stop the van!
What did you see?
I'm in the water, surrounded by it on all sides. I see fish. They're attacking me. They're biting me. I don't know what to do. Should I give up and drown or fight them? They're everywhere. I'm shaking. I felt his condition. He was under pressure, and he kept repeating to himself, "I'll do everything myself. I'll deal with it." Ilmira, look, coins. They're not ordinary coins. They're ritualistic. It's like a sign. Something in this story will definitely be connected to money.
Hello. Please come in. Help us figure out what really happened.
Yakiv Schneyerson decides to work inside the house, while Ilmira Derbentseva stays outside with Pasha's father.
I'm being led over here.
It was his room.
May I sit down? This is the bed.
This is his couch. When we bought it for him, everyone laughed, saying it would be his wedding couch.
He was different from his peers. He wanted to do everything for his family.
Immediately after he entered the yard with his suitcase, I'd see him riding the scooter somewhere, mowing the lawn.
He took care of all the chores. He would mow the grass and help his parents with everything.
He was very hardworking. He was very apt.
If Pasha had stayed in the village, nothing bad would have happened to him. Everyone considered him a joker and a prankster, but in fact, deep in his soul, he was very sensitive. But when he got to the city, he found himself in some harsh struggle.
But what trouble did Pasha get into? And did he really take his own life? Or was he hanged by someone else?
Pasha had a strong bond with his father. They loved working with engines, fixing cars.
To be honest, I lost everything I had.
He worked here since he was around 10 or 12. And I think he had a dream to have his own car. To drive it, right?
I taught him to drive.
Mechanics seemed to be his biggest passion.
Pasha didn't need a TV or a computer. He could spend hours tinkering with cars. He could take a vehicle apart and put it back together.
We all waited when he finally turned 18, so he could officially get his driver's license.
Pasha enrolled in a driving school. To receive his dream document, he had one step left to complete to pass the exam, which was supposed to be 2 days after the day when he was found hanged.
He had the exam scheduled.
However, Pasha never showed up for the exam. Moreover, the boy, who usually called his parents several times a day, simply disappeared.
We couldn't reach him. A day, 2, 3, but all we got was, "The subscriber you are trying to reach is unavailable."
Worried, the mother asked Pasha's classmates to go to his room and check if everything was okay. They knocked on his door several times, but no one answered.
According to the forensic experts, Pasha died a day before his body was found. But where was he all those days while his parents couldn't reach him? Why was his phone turned off? And why didn't he respond?
According to the official version, the boy committed suicide, and the investigators didn't conduct a further investigation.
We need to summon his spirit. Hold the rocks, please. I see that. While I'm sitting on the couch, I'm being shown that his death found him on the bed. And there are pipes like this. And I feel that he was in this position. Like his hands were under him and his legs were like this. And he was all curled up.
This is right.
On June 9th, we received a report regarding the discovery of a university student's body. He was found in a sitting position on the bed.
I sense that a few days later, something blind, like an animal, came to visit you.
After Pasha's funeral, a blind kitten came to our house. It lies down on my chest all the time.
Dead people's souls often return to their loved ones in the form of animals. Pasha came to his family as a blind kitten. Let's go. I don't yet understand whether he did it himself or if someone helped him.
I sense he suffered from something.
I saw him break up with a girl about 6 months before his death. It changed him a lot.
In March.
It turned out that indeed, around 6 months before Pasha's death, his girlfriend left him. The young people had been together for about a year. Pasha took the breakup very hard.
I sense that he really might have committed suicide.
Could the breakup with his girlfriend have driven Pasha to suicide?
But he's showing me that there's another girl. and she appeared a few days or weeks before his death.
It's all true. He went to a friend's 18th birthday on the 31st and came back laughing. I asked, "Son, what happened?" And he said, "Mom, I have a new girlfriend."
We found the girl and talked to her.
He wasn't like everyone else. He was kind and sincere.
It turned out that Pasha and Nastya had known each other for many years, but they realized they couldn't live without each other just before Pasha's death.
We went to the same school, and we started communicating later, and then he asked me if I'd like to date him.
There could be no suicide, especially not over love. He started a new relationship with the girl fate had given him.
Perhaps Pasha and Nastya would have really built a family, and his parents would have been playing with their grandchildren and enjoying life. But instead, every Saturday, they go to their son's grave.
He's pulling me to the cemetery now.
I'll stay here with Sergei.
Hello, my dear. Tell them everything, my dear boy.
The stone fell. He's here with us now. Pasha, show me the day of your death. He's showing me 3 people around him. He's lying on the bed, and they're standing over him. And they're filled with fear. They start running somewhere.
Who are these people? Could they be Pasha's killers?
But I was shown that he was already dead when they arrived.
These are the boys who broke into the room. They all got scared and ran downstairs to call the police and me.
Pasha Onishchenko's body was found by his friends. These are the same young men who knocked on his room's door for 4 days at the request of his mother. However, they refused to communicate with us, as did the rest of the students at the university where Pasha studied. They say they were forbidden to talk.
But what happened before that, and why was Pasha's phone turned off?
His body is covered in bruises, head injuries, bruises, and hematomas on his head.
His lip and right temple were split.
He received a blow here, and it seems something also happened to his thumb.
His thumb was twisted, displaced, but the police said it was a result of the effort from hanging.
Could the police officers have made a mistake?
I need to see the dormitory, to be in the place where he was at the moment of his death.
But it's late. It's 11 o'clock in the evening. Nevertheless, we set off on the road. The next morning, the psychics continue their investigation and go to talk to the supervisor of the dormitory where Pasha was found dead.
Hello, this is Psychic Investigations. Larissa reached out to us regarding her son's death. We'd like to see his room.
I need to inform the university directorate.
We can wait.
It turns out, getting into Pasha's room is extremely difficult.
They don't want us to find the truth.
I clearly realized that everyone around was afraid to bring up the topic of Pasha's death, and only at the end of the investigation did I understand why. I need to get out of here. I need to tune in. His energy is coming from over there. I feel he was looking from there. He wanted to run away from there.
He often told me that when he came back to his room, there were a lot of strangers there. So he would leave the dormitory and go for a walk because he didn't want to see them.
But who were those people, and why did Pasha avoid them? Finally, the psychics were allowed to enter the room where Pasha lived and was found dead. However, we were forbidden to bring in the cameras, so everything that happened further had to be filmed on a mobile phone.
When I entered the room where Pasha lived and where he was found dead, I felt like I was in a vice. And I'm sure Pasha felt the same. He wasn't supposed to be there. I'm being shown that he had plans to leave a month or two ago. It's connected to work and studies.
He was going to do the summer practice, but it never happened.
To do this, Pasha had to pay a certain amount to his group's curator in advance. It included the cost of transportation and accommodation. According to Pasha's parents, they gave their son this amount about a month before his death.
When they said Pasha didn't pay the fee for some reason, I called his curator, and it turned out she didn't even know.
After Pasha received the money from his parents, he asked them for almost the same amount for general expenses, but he didn't pay the fee and didn't go anywhere. Moreover, shortly before his death, Pasha pawned his gadgets, a laptop and a camera, and received an amount almost 3 times larger, as evidenced by the pawn shop receipt. It remains unclear why he needed such a sum, as it's not a small amount for an ordinary student.
Could Pasha have really gotten into trouble? But why didn't he tell anyone about it? And how exactly did he die?
This place was like a prison for him. He was despised, hated here. He runs away from here. I see the money.
The psychics mentioned the money before the investigation.
It seems to be a certain sign. In this story, something will definitely be connected to money.
He had a money problem about a month and a half before his death. It bothered him greatly, and he didn't know what to do.
I'm being pulled over there.
There's a room full of computers.
I'm being pulled there.
Pasha, what really happened? I'm ashamed. I'm very ashamed. I thought I could handle it myself. He says he got confused.
Larissa, I feel that this is where he played. He just needed to get away from the problems that loomed over him. He liked it here.
We spoke to Pasha's friends and found out that he wasn't a gambling person and didn't have any debts. He might occasionally go to the internet cafe just to relax.
Yakiv Schneerson goes back to Ilmira Derbentseva.
I see him being punched. He receives a blow on the head, and he falls and hits his right temple.
He's lying curled up. When he fell, one of them touched him with their foot. Like, trying to see if he was alive.
They got scared, and now I feel their condition, and he seems to be unconscious.
And they pulled him over there. The rope was bright, wasn't it?
It was orange.
This is just horrifying. Could the boy have been brutally murdered and his death staged as a suicide? But who and why would do that?
I see them taking him and placing him like this, and his position is unnatural. They're masking everything as suicide, and I see them taking his things, creating the illusion that he killed himself.
Does this mean Pasha was indeed murdered and then hanged, after which the killer or killers fled? Moreover, an empty vodka bottle was on the table. According to the autopsy, there was no alcohol in Pasha's blood. But how could such a thing happen in an ordinary student dormitory? And most importantly, who killed Pasha and why?
They break into his room and demand money from him. They say they'll increase the sum if he doesn't pay. They threatened him.
I heard the words, "You'll repay it."
I felt that older students or outsiders demanded money from those who were weaker, like first-year students. I saw fish attacking me, and they started biting me. I didn't know what to do. Should I give up and drown or fight them? They're everywhere. They're putting pressure on me. He tried to get out of it himself, but he couldn't. And then I see them coming and demanding money from him. He gave them the money Larissa had given him to pay for the trip. Then they demanded more. He sells his gadgets and gives them the money he got for it.
They blackmailed him.
Yes, they had a leader.
He's older, dark-haired, with a part in his hair. Sharp features, a thin, sunken nose, and sunken eyes. And two younger men.
One of them is around 20 years old. He does sports and studies here. He lives in the dormitory.
He's the one who hit him because he does sports. I have a feeling he does either martial arts or mixed martial arts. And the third one, he's absolutely unremarkable.
He's fair-haired and skinny.
Could the poor parents have known that sending their son to study, they were sending him to his certain death? According to the psychics, the modest rural boy simply could not stand up to the stronger and more brazen residents or guests of the dormitory, who humiliated him, took his money, and finally killed him, staging it as a suicide.
We are so grateful to you for clearing our boy's name. We will take action.
We contacted the local police, asking them to review the case and pay attention to what the psychics sensed. A mysterious death of a pregnant woman and her baby. What mystical force dragged the poor souls to the other world? And what does the Ghost Rider have to do with it? Find out right now. One of the most emotional investigations of the season. This woman's name is Inna. She lives in a small Ukrainian village. She works as a paramedic. Inna dedicated her entire life to raising her daughter, Nastya.
Nastia's father, he died. He developed a drinking problem in his final years.
Nastia's father drank himself to death, so her mother raised her alone. When Nastia grew up, she became a true beauty. After graduating from school, she moved to the city, became a hairdresser, and worked in a beauty salon. She eventually met a decent young man named Andrei. After they got married, she became pregnant.
Nastia was on cloud 9 when she was pregnant. She had a great husband, and her pregnancy was going well.
It seemed like Nastia had everything a woman could dream of. A loving husband, a home filled with happiness, and soon, her first child.
They would go to stores to look at cribs. They were getting ready, and they were even choosing names together.
They were preparing the bedroom. They wanted to renovate their apartment before the baby was born.
Nastia didn't quit her job and worked at the beauty salon until the last months of her pregnancy.
Everyone told her to go on maternity leave, but she insisted on working.
I always told her, Nastya, sit down. But no, she would be on the go all the time and wouldn't rest a minute.
Nastia's friend Natalia works as a cosmetologist at the same beauty salon. She used to study to become a gynecologist, so she often consulted the expectant mother about the pregnancy.
She always said she felt all right and never complained about anything.
But a month before the due date, Nastia suddenly fell unwell. It was a Thursday, and she had just arrived at work.
I asked, Nastya, are you okay? She said she felt pain in her abdomen. I told her it shouldn't hurt like that. I said, let's call a doctor. But she insisted she had just seen a doctor, who assured her everything was fine.
However, Nastia later went back to the hospital. And no sooner had she made it through the door of the hospital than she fainted.
It was so shocking. She went to work in the morning, but was in the hospital by lunchtime.
They performed an emergency C-section, but unfortunately, the baby had already died.
The baby died due to Nastia's dangerously high blood pressure, which stopped the child's heart.
On her way to the hospital, Nastia called her husband and complained about the pain. Andrei was on a business trip not far from the city. He dropped everything and rushed home. He still can't talk about that awful day. After all, he lost his dearest people in the world, his beloved wife and their long-awaited son.
He died, and Nastia, she had this tube for artificial respiration in her mouth, and she couldn't speak. She pointed to her stomach with her hand and mumbled, "Where?" And I said, "The doctors are taking care of him. Everything will be all right."
Inna never found the courage to tell her daughter her son had died.
He was buried while she was still in the hospital.
3 days after the delivery, Nastia fell into a coma. Her critical condition and the baby's death were explained by a rare syndrome called HELLP, a late-onset toxemia. Relatives still can't understand why this happened. After all, the pregnancy was going without any issues.
We were all badly shocked.
I read online that it's an extremely rare condition that happens once per 100,000 pregnancies.
The syndrome suddenly arises during the last months of pregnancy, mainly in women giving birth for the first time. It involves increased blood pressure and impaired blood circulation in the placenta. As a result, the baby doesn't receive nutrients and oxygen and passes away. Even specialists who have studied this disease for many years can't yet determine the cause of its occurrence.
We can even hear the fetus's heartbeat, and there's movement. But unfortunately, within 2 or 3 days, such an outcome can occur for the fetus.
2 or 3 days, but not a couple of hours. Besides, Nastia underwent regular checkups and was even seen by a doctor on the day of the tragedy.
Andrei was desperately hoping that the doctors would save his wife.
However, Nastia's vital organs began to fail one by one, and the doctors couldn't save her. Eventually, the young woman passed away.
Seeing her clothes breaks my heart. I haven't washed anything after that. They still smell like Nastia's perfume.
Nastia's death was like a ton of bricks falling on all of us.
She passed away on the 9th day after the baby. It's unimaginable.
Andrei cried, saying, "I can't believe they're both gone."
When you expect that your wife gives birth to a baby, but instead you end up with 2 coffins. This is horrendous.
He lost all the meaning in life.
Nastia's family has no doubt that it wasn't a mere accident.
It's impossible that so much grief befalls a single family.
Especially since the night before Nastia was admitted to the hospital, her mother had a terrifying dream.
I was walking in a dense forest, carrying a baby in my arms. And then I heard the snapping of branches and pine needles. I heard a wolf's voice, growling, and the thumping of paws. Someone was being torn apart. Suddenly a black cloud descended upon me, blocking out the sun. It became dark. That's when I thought something might happen to Nastia.
And the next day, Inna's daughter ended up in the hospital.
We need to know the cause. Why did she and the baby pass away?
Angelina is Nastia's elder sister. She is married and has a daughter, Sofia. She also had problems when giving birth, but she still can't wrap her head around what happened to Nastia. Psychics Olena Kurilova and Sofia Litvinova step in to investigate the enigmatic sudden death of the young mother and her baby.
When I looked at the photo, I had a vision of a woman so gaunt that she looked like a skeleton. However, it wasn't Nastia. She was holding a dead infant. The baby was torn to pieces, as if torn apart by a pack of dogs. The woman tried to say something to me, but she didn't have the strength to utter a word.
I asked the higher powers why this happened. Why did the young woman die? And they showed me a severed head, a bloody human head on a platter. And a girl of around 12 was running around it. She had a small mirror in her hands, and she was making sunlight reflections with it. But what does this mean?
I had a dream. In it, I woke up to the roar of a motorcycle engine and saw a motorcyclist. He told me, "My death is a payback. You must hurry. I feel like the events are unfolding further. There might be more deaths to come, one after another.
The psychics arrive at the home where the happy Nastya and Andrei awaited the birth of their first child not so long ago.
Hello.
Hello.
My name's Ina.
Are you Andrei?
Yes, the husband.
I see the letter K. Did anyone whose name starts with a K die?
The baby, his name was Kirilo.
The baby was still in his mother's womb, but the parents already knew their boy's name would be Kirilo.
I feel that the name somehow influenced the boy's fate. And when I saw the letter K, it doubled. There must be another dead child in their family with that name.
Grandma had twins, Lev and Kirilo. My grandmother.
As it turned out, the grandmother's twins also died during the delivery.
Everyone knows that naming children after the deceased is not recommended, because the child might repeat the deceased person's fate. The name Kirilo indeed influenced the baby's fate, but it doesn't explain the mother's death. You met when she was still very young. She was your first, true, and only love.
I fell in love with her at the first glance.
Those huge brown eyes.
Her eyes were mesmerizing. There was something extraordinary and magical about them.
They started dating when she was still in school. He was her first love, and she married him in the end.
The couple got married when Nastya turned 19. Andrei's parents bought the young couple an apartment in the city as a wedding present. The young man personally renovated the place and brought his young wife to their new home.
She would call me and say, "Mom, Andrei bought me this or that." Rings, necklaces, earrings, beautiful things like that.
Andrei was building his career and tried to provide his beautiful wife with everything she needed.
She did her best to keep herself in shape and was merciless to herself. A tighter belt and not eating too much. And she did all this, so everyone would envy you and admire your beautiful wife. She loved you so much. Tell me, why do I sense that her body was poisoned by some strong substance? There's poison in her body.
The cause of Nastya's death was intoxication, which, in simple terms, is poisoning. Perhaps this is what the psychic is referring to.
They said an infection started when the fetus died.
It takes a few days of a baby decomposing in the womb for toxic substances to appear and start poisoning the mother. But Nastya had seen a doctor that morning.
If the doctors made a mistake, it will be on their conscience. What do you see?
She's little. Like I see her from afar.
Is it a woman?
A little girl. She shows me a stroller, a crib, and a house. Find the house. So, it's not an apartment building. Did you live in a house?
Yes. Our village is about a 20-minute drive from here.
I recognized her. She was the same little girl from my vision yesterday. She showed me the human head on a platter. Let's go there. That's where the answer lies, I think.
The psychics arrive at the family's old house inn after dark, but they continue working.
Can I come in?
Sure.
Something terrible happened here. The earth is soaked with the maternal grief of a woman who ate her own flesh. I see the dismembered body of a child. The woman ate her own child.
Dear God.
Do you know who I'm talking about? She knocks on every door asking for bread. And a man, your blood relative, throws her out. You weren't born yet.
She extends her thin arms.
She looks, but her baby is not breathing.
I have goosebumps all over my body.
There were indeed cases of cannibalism during the Holodomor of the 1930s in this village. The people who survived are no longer alive. However, our journalists did find a woman whose entire family, except for 4 children, perished in the famine.
Her mother had 11 children. 4 survived, all the rest died in the famine.
Katerina Radchenko wasn't born yet, but she still can't forget the story her mother told her about a village woman who, driven by hunger, ate her own baby.
In the evening, she lay with her baby, and in the morning they found her, but the baby was gone. She had eaten her.
She condemned herself for the rest of her days. May God forgive her. We didn't live in those times.
This is simply horrifying to think about what people, driven to madness by hunger, had to go through. But how is this story connected to Nastya and her baby's death?
The woman from my vision kept repeating, "It killed us." She was talking about the hunger. The hunger killed her and her baby. And Nastya's death is also somehow linked to starvation.
Nastya's blood was like water in her veins. Didn't she eat properly? Or what was it?
She dieted. She induced vomiting.
It's unimaginable. Did she starve herself when she was pregnant?
During the entire pregnancy, she would run up to me, show me her butt, and shout that it was too big and that she needed to do something about it.
Her greatest fear was to gain weight and lose her shape. She refused to eat.
But you didn't know about it.
I noticed she had lost weight. I even had a word with Andrei about it, but he said he liked her like that.
This is called anorexia.
Nastya's starvation added fuel to the fire. Her and her baby's death were part of some karmic program. By refusing to eat, she essentially deprived herself of the strength and resources to fight for her life.
In the case of anorexia, when a woman's body has already exhausted all its reserves, sooner or later, a tragic outcome is inevitable.
Can we get inside?
Of course.
The vision of the severed head on a platter wouldn't leave my mind. Whose head was that? And who was the little girl running around it with a mirror?
Olena, did you see it? Someone entered.
I didn't see.
God. Olena!
Sophia, where are you going?
What happened? Why did the psychic run out of the house like a bullet?
Olena, do you hear that? A motorcycle engine.
A motorcycle.
There he is.
Sophia, where are you going?
A moment. There on the motorcycle. Do you see him? A young man. I feel sick. He rode straight at me. He hit me with his motorcycle. It was the same motorcyclist who woke me up the day before the investigation. I woke up to the roar of a motorcycle. The spirit rushed past me. He shouted, "He died because of me." Nastya's child died because of me.
Does this mean it all happened because of my brother?
Did you have a brother?
Yes, I did. He crashed on his motorcycle.
As it turned out, Ina did have an elder brother, Ivan, who died at the age of 20. Ina was in high school at the time, but how could the dead young man be connected to Nastya and her baby's death?
I hear fighting and screaming. It's you and your brother.
He beat me.
Why?
Over a mirror. I had powder then. He asked me for the mirror from there. He needed it for his motorcycle.
But you refused.
I did. And he started punching me violently.
And he died a few hours after that fight.
Yes.
The little girl running around the severed head with a mirror in her hands was Inna herself. The mirror she used to make sunlight reflections was the same one her brother beat her for. And then I understood whose head was on the platter. Did it happen on a church holiday?
Beheading of St. John the Baptist.
Oh my goodness, may God have mercy.
It was the head of John the Baptist. What happened to Nastya and her baby is connected to the date of his beheading.
John the Baptist was executed thousands of years ago on the same day Inna's brother died. The legend has it that his head was cut off. People say that on this date you should not use a knife and/or touch any circular objects that resemble a human head in shape. Fighting is also prohibited, especially hitting your own sister on the head because of a round mirror.
On this holiday, everything circular has a mystical significance, especially a mirror. Your brother did something unforgivable on this holy day. He beat his own sister to the point of drawing blood.
My nose was bruised and I had a black eye.
But how could this affect the death of Nastya and the unborn Kirilo?
Wait, Inna, tell me one thing. Did you curse him?
He beat me, and I cried, but did nothing. And then I looked at him, and he turned pale as clay. He said, "Go ahead, look, you're seeing me for the last time."
You experienced an internal offense. You know, an unconscious curse. And now, there's a curse on the boys in your family. If it had been a girl, she would have been born.
The first boy.
You need to perform a karmic ritual for your family. Go to 7 churches and light candles in front of the icon of Virgin Mary.
Did a young mother of 2 daughters really commit suicide right at a family celebration? The truth will shock you. The psychics will expose the real killer. In this house in a small Ukrainian village, life seems to have stopped since the mother of the family, 33-year-old Marina Timkovich, was found dead at the doorstep of her own home.
The tragedy occurred on March 8th. Marina Timkovich's body was discovered by her husband, Vasil. The woman wearing a nightgown was lying outside the door of her house. A bloody kitchen knife from her home was found nearby. The cause of death was a stab wound to the heart.
The police concluded that Marina committed suicide. They claim she stabbed herself in the heart.
She loved her children very much, and she would never leave them alone.
We're shocked. They're such a diligent family. They have everything in abundance.
The victim's brother, Volodymyr, remembers the day he lost his only sister well.
I remember her tearful and smiling. She visited us in the morning, and I congratulated her on the International Women's Day.
Marina lived in her own house with her husband, Vasil, and their 2 daughters, 16-year-old Nadia and 9-year-old Angelina. In the evening, the whole family gathered to celebrate. Marina's brother and his wife did not join them and stayed to celebrate at home. All the known details come from Vasil's words.
They laid the table in the kitchen.
She prepared everyone's favorites to please them.
That evening, Vasil's relatives came to the Timkovics for dinner. The hostess stayed to entertain the guests until 10 in the evening, after which she put her younger daughter to bed and went to rest, too.
They said she changed and went to bed.
An hour later, Vasil went outside to smoke and found his beloved wife dead. The family called the police.
The investigator examined the scene. It's a private house. No one can enter the yard that simple.
What happened to the loving wife and mother? Why would she commit suicide if she had no problems in the family or at work? It is also puzzling why the woman went outside only wearing a nightgown. It was rather cold that evening, only 2 degrees above zero, and people were still wearing warm clothes. Is it possible that Marina was taken outside by force?
She wanted to live. She wanted to be with us.
The suicide version indeed looks rather strange. The local priest also disagrees with it.
A knife wound 12 centimeters deep. It can't be suicide. With the permission of the local bishop, I conducted the funeral service anyway.
What kind of strength does one need to stab themselves in the chest 12 centimeters deep? Could Marina really do this herself? To somehow understand the causes of the tragedy, the family hired a lawyer. However, according to him, the police are behaving very strangely and are obstructing an independent investigation.
As a lawyer, I haven't been granted access to the materials to date. Everyone is turning a blind eye.
The police are doing nothing at all.
We are asking the psychics to help us.
Clairvoyant Yaroslava Fedorova took on the investigation of Marina's death. The psychic is already working with the victim's photo.
For some reason, I see a picture of her kneeling, and there's something like a chain around her neck. And next to her, I see a woman with short hair.
The next morning, Olena Kurilova joins the investigation. The psychics share what they have sensed.
A man jumping out of a window is...
Another suicide?
Hold up. Lovers. It's an affair.
Astonishing news. Did Marina really have a lover who committed suicide?
I had a dream of an icon last night, the Last Supper, and I saw Marina sitting at the table. She was surrounded by guests. Next to Marina sat a traitor, just like Judas was next to Jesus.
Does it mean Marina was betrayed? But who betrayed her and how? The psychics go to meet her family, but Marina's husband is currently on a business trip in the Czech Republic.
Hello?
Hello.
My name's Volodymyr. This is Nadia, the daughter of the deceased, and this is my wife, Mariana.
Mariana, pleased to meet you.
Hold this.
Something pushed me right in the shoulder. She's here. Marina. Marina's spirit appeared as soon as we started working. Marina says, thank you for the children. She now calls you mother, Angelina.
Angelina is like my own daughter to me. Right after Marina's death, she asked if she could call me mom.
The girls no longer have a mother, and their father has to stay away from home for a long time to provide a decent life for his daughters. Currently, Marina's brother, Volodymyr, and his wife, Mariana, care for the sisters.
She says, let her be the mother. She trusts you.
She was a wonderful mother to her children, always doing everything for them.
I see flowers in Marina's hands when she was alive. Red flowers.
She received a gift of a red bouquet.
It turned out that on the day of her death, Marina was given a gorgeous bouquet as a present for March 8th.
What's her husband's
Basil.
name? She loved him a lot.
Her feelings were very strong.
First love for life, and she got married very young.
She was 16.
It's unbelievable. Why would a beautiful woman, a loving mother and wife, stab herself in the heart then?
I see 2 wounds, 2 knives. One is physical, and the other stabs her in the back, like some kind of betrayal. A traitor sat at the table with Marina that evening. That person is related to her death. We need to understand who it is.
Marina, show us. The cards show a love affair between a man and a woman. It's Nadia's father.
And the woman next to her is family.
Marina says it hurts so much, she cries.
A shocking revelation. So, was Marina's life with her husband not so happy after all? Could it be that the unfaithfulness was the reason for the suicide and no one killed Marina? But who is the woman with whom Vasil had an affair?
You all know her.
People said he had an affair with the school principal.
Everyone in the village knew about this principal. She's Angelina's godmother.
Does it mean that Vasil cheated on his wife with the woman Marina trusted so much that she invited her to be her daughter's godmother?
She nurtured a snake in her bosom.
She says she wants us to meet that woman.
The psychics go to the school where Vasil's mistress, Mariana, is the principal.
Hello.
Hello?
The principal won't come out. She doesn't wish to talk to you.
If you're not guilty of anything, you won't need to hide.
Of course.
Their relationship initially was purely professional.
It turned out that 10 years ago, Vasil worked at the school as a manager of the economy, and Mariana was his boss. Perhaps that's when their romance began?
She goes somewhere with him by car.
Yes, they used their car.
I saw them several times. Vasil was giving her a lift in his car.
Many people said they dated, but Marina refused to believe it.
She always defended her family.
Meanwhile, Olena Kurilova notices the school principal at the back entrance.
There was a scandal connected with you and Marina's husband. Did you and him have an affair?
No.
Then why was Marina so insanely jealous?
Yes, Marina was, but we talked. I told her Vasil wanted it, but I refused him because I respected Marina very much.
She didn't lie to me. She indeed never had a love affair with Vasil. However, the cards clearly showed that Marina's husband had someone on the side.
He had someone. I saw him talking on the phone with someone for a long time and texting a lot. Besides, and Marina herself told me, he had another woman. Her name's Olha.
So Vasil did have a mistress, and Marina found out about it?
Marina even said she wanted to send him to work abroad.
Marina understood everything. She sent her husband to work in another country to keep him away from his mistress.
According to the school principal, Vasil went to work abroad and thus broke up with his mistress. But Marina died 6 months later. If she really decided to commit suicide because of her husband's unfaithfulness, why didn't she do it right away?
Marina says, find the mirrored doors.
It's their gate. She died there.
The psychics and Marina's relatives go to the place where the tragedy occurred. Almost all the villagers have gathered near the Timkovich's house.
This is the house where Marina lived, and this is the mirrored gates.
Let me work here.
May I enter the house?
The past. A celebration. They had guests. A couple.
She looks that way. She's alone in the room, and she sees someone staring at her. She runs, but God! There was a knife here.
I see Marina. Marina runs. I see a man. And he meets her, and he seems hug her. Like this. Bam. An iron embraces.
But who is the man who embraced Marina before her death?
I hear a scream and then... You're not going anywhere. You won't say anything. Shut up. Shut up forever. Yaroslava. He killed her. A man. A man's hand with the knife.
What fell there?
We heard a loud bang in the house. A champagne bottle fell.
Wait.
It's incredible. There was no one in the house. There were no drafts or pets.
It was a sign from Marina.
Something is missing there.
Yes, the money is gone.
About $2,000.
So, a significant amount of money disappeared from the house. But why was the case closed as suicide then? Robbery seems to be a plausible motive for homicide.
That person took the money. Sit down, my dear.
Don't cry.
Our detective Katerina Malachenko, along with the lawyer hired by the victim's family, managed to obtain the case materials. The information is shocking.
There are facts that contradict the suicide theory. There were no fingerprints on the knife that killed Marina. She couldn't have stabbed herself and then wipe off the prints.
The project's detective urgently joins the psychic's investigation.
Katerina Malachenko.
Volodymyr.
A traitor sat at the table with Marina that evening.
Do you feel someone leave through the door that night?
Through the front door? No one else left. She went out alone.
Who could murder her then?
If everyone was in the house and no one followed Marina out, then the killer wasn't one of the guests. So, who did it?
I'm going to work with water in front of the mirror. I need to see everything it witnessed.
And I'm going to look through the fire. She draws me here. She stands here by the window, watching. And you know what she sees? Her closest, dearest person flirting with another woman on the balcony. Marina knew her husband was constantly cheating on her. And of course, seeing him talking sweetly to another woman was the last straw.
A knife in the back, a stab from behind.
It seems the family realized who the man could have been sweetly talking to in front of his wife. It was Svitlana, the wife of Vasil's brother. She and her husband came to visit the Timkoviches that evening.
His brother's wife. He said he'd gone out on the balcony to smoke, but before that, he'd smoked in the house. I'm sure of that. He never went outside.
And Svitlana didn't smoke at all. I don't know what they were doing on that balcony.
Our expert decided to meet with Svitlana.
This wasn't suicide.
It's impossible. I'm a witness. I saw it all.
Did you see the moment she drove the knife into her heart?
It was by the gate. She had already changed in her robe.
If this woman is telling the truth, did Marina really kill herself? But then, why were there no fingerprints on the knife? And why was the murder weapon found next to the victim's left hand when she was right-handed? Is it possible that Svitlana's lying and it didn't happen that way?
And then I understood why I'd seen Marina on her knees with a chain wrapped around her neck in the morning. It was a clue. It meant that the woman was completely under her husband's control. Only on the last day of her life did she realize she wouldn't endure this humiliation any longer.
She's showing me. Here, the chain. Did the gold chain break like this?
Once he pushed her, Vasil pushed Marina, and her chain broke.
I told her several times, "My God, Marina, you have huge bruises. Where are they from?" She said she'd fallen, but she was beaten up badly.
Did Vasil, whom Marina loved with all her heart, beat her?
She's shouting, "No, that's it, I'm leaving." And he grabs the knife. I'm almost certain that Marina's husband killed her.
So, was it her husband? You yourself said that no one left the house.
He didn't leave the house.
He jumped out the window. A man jumping out of a window.
Svitlana told me she locked them out on that balcony.
I asked him why she locked the balcony door. He said he didn't know. I think it's because she might have seen something she didn't want to see between Vasil and Svitlana.
It's not high at all. You can simply swing your leg over this parapet and jump onto the boiler room roof.
Sure, you can do that. Do you mean Svitlana also jumped from the balcony?
No, Svitlana stayed on the balcony.
But if Svitlana stayed on the balcony, how could she have seen Marina stab herself? After all, the yard isn't visible from the balcony. as it's on the opposite side of the house.
He thought she would get scared if she saw him with the knife because she was always afraid.
At the table, Vasil smiled like a demon and said, "I will kill you."
We heard him say that when he was drunk. He said, "Would the family forgive me if I killed you?"
He said he was tired of living the way he was living.
Nadia, did you ever see your dad drunk? What was he like? Aggressive.
Yes, he didn't even talk to Mom normally, but he always yelled at her drunk.
She always told me she wanted to keep her family together so the kids would have a father.
She was trying to preserve her family at the cost of her own life. That explains everything. His quick departure and by the way, the money that disappeared from the dresser. Where did it go?
We don't know.
Where? To bribe the cops.
I have almost no doubt that Marina's husband murdered her. He not only killed her, but also made it look like a suicide.
We'd like to thank you for helping us figure this out.
We need to talk to Svetlana because Svetlana is the primary witness.
Svetlana realized we won't drop this case. It will be publicized nationwide, and she might end up in prison. So, on the second attempt, she began to recall slightly different circumstances of Marina Timkovich's death.
Svetlana, did you see the exact moment when she killed herself?
I only saw it when he shouted, "Svetlana, look, there's blood."
Did you witness the moment she did it?
No, I didn't.
After the investigation by the psychics, I and Marina Timkovich's relatives requested 2 independent examinations. Marina couldn't have stabbed herself in the heart. The injuries found on her body are not characteristic of self-infliction.
The murder of a young nurse. The maniac wanted his crime to remain hidden in the casket with his victim's body. But the woman's spirit will reveal the truth. The psychics will investigate the murder of a young Ukrainian nurse. Her name was Alina Diakova. She was 23, and this is her last photo.
Alina always dreamed of being a medic. She enjoyed working at the hospital.
Alina's grandmother was the last person who saw her alive. On her way home, Alina stopped in her village to visit her and bring her medications. After that, she hurried home to give a dripper to her mother, who suffers from a stomach ulcer.
I dialed her and spoke to her on the phone.
At 8 p.m., Alina went to the bus stop. The 2 villages are 4 kilometers apart, so Alina was supposed to be home 20 minutes later.
I came home and expected her to be back any moment. Then I called her and heard her crying and shouting, "Mom, help me!" I asked her, "Where are you?" But I only heard, "At the cemetery." And that was it. The line went dead.
The bus linking both villages passes by the local cemetery. But the driver says Alina wasn't among his passengers that night.
There's only one cemetery between the villages, so my husband and I quickly went there by car. I called her, I shouted, I ran, and tried to dial her. I heard the tone, but nobody would answer the phone.
Desperate, the mother called the police, and the law enforcers began the search right away, joined by the locals.
Alina was found 2 days after she disappeared. Her body was lying in the field 5 kilometers from the village Alina had been heading for on her last evening. She was undressed, her wrists and ankles were tied, and a black plastic bag was on her head. The forensic examination concluded that the cause of Alina Diakova's death was a traumatic brain injury. Apart from that, she was beaten badly.
The forensics said her jaw had several fractures.
My husband went to the identification, and my son says it's good I didn't see her.
The victim's cross was found next to her body. Its lace was broken. Most probably, the murderer tore it from the victim's neck.
She helped everyone. She only meant good. Did she really deserve this? Why would somebody do something like that to another person?
All of Alina's personal possessions were with her. That is, it couldn't be a robbery.
According to her friends and family, Alina never had conflicts with her friends or colleagues, which excludes the idea that she could be killed as revenge. She wasn't in a relationship at the time of the murder, so it wasn't done out of jealousy. Then the motive remains unclear to date.
I really want to ask for your help.
We need it to be investigated properly, so at least nobody else will be hurt.
The most powerful psychics in our project, Kayal Alekperov and Zhana Shulakova, took up the case.
I have a feeling Alina was put into some kind of casket before she was murdered.
When I asked who the murderer was, my sacred book told me, look for the hand with the cross. Besides, Alina called her mother from the cemetery. It gives me an idea it could be a ritual murder. The psychic's words can make anyone's hair stand up on their nape. Is Alina really a victim of a bloody ritual? Hold on. My book gave me 2 more cues. The murderer's hand feeds the dog and find the girl who escaped from the beast. Let's go.
Kayal.
It's unbelievable. Kayal Alekperov was almost hit by the car. Fortunately, the driver hit the brakes at the last moment.
Do you want to kill yourself? What happened?
Zhana, it was as if I teleported into that terrible evening. Through Alina's eyes, I saw the same car, but it was white. Could the murderer be a driver?
So we need to find a similar car.
The psychics arrive at the house of Lilia, Alina's mother. The victim's family, friends, and colleagues are already waiting for them.
Hello, my name's Lilia. I'm Alina's mother.
I'm Alina's aunt. My name's Natalia.
Thank you so much for coming.
Give me your hands. At that moment, I saw Alina's spirit. I wanted to cry suddenly. For some reason, Alina felt huge guilt toward her grandmother. Grandma, forgive me that I didn't bring the flowers.
Alina died on her grandmother's birthday.
I feel she knew she would die. Not long before it happened, she had a nightmare. It was a prophetic dream.
Yes, she told me of it.
She was running, fleeing from a beast that was trying to tear her apart. What lunar phase was it? Can somebody give me a phone? I need to check it out online. What was the lunar phase? Here, look. Here, the moon was full.
But if it really was a ritual murder, and Alina was killed at the cemetery, then here's a question. How did her body end up 5 kilometers away from the cemetery?
What do we have here? The murderer. He's lonely. He knows her, he sees her. He's interested in her.
My book is telling me that the police detained somebody. Do they really have a suspect?
Well, they really arrested a man quickly. But we doubt it could be him.
Then why did they arrest him?
Because he's an ex-convict and was released recently.
The victim's family think the police had simply detained the first suspect they could find, choosing the ex-convict to close the case quickly so the people would calm down.
He's a thief. Previously, he was sentenced for theft.
Yes, when they found him, he had her phone and earbuds.
The suspect's name is Mikhailo, and he lives in the village not far from which Alina was found. During the search at his house, the police found the victim's mobile phone. This was the reason for his detention.
My book says that Alina had valuable jewelry on her, and it was untouched. It was something in the shape of swallows.
Gold earrings. They were on her.
He took nothing. He didn't even touch the gold.
The old jailbird took the phone but didn't touch the gold. It's really weird.
Mikhailo has a wife and a 13-year-old daughter. But Zhana Shulakova claimed Alina's murderer was a lonely man who knew the victim. Mikhailo never knew Alina. All her friends and relatives confirm it.
Did the police make a mistake, and the dangerous murderer is still free? The psychics go to the cemetery, from where, according to her mother, Alina called her. She was brought in a car.
Alina never got into strangers' cars.
She knew the man in the car. I see the car with Alina pull over here. The murderer starts harassing your daughter, grabbing her hands. She realizes she's in danger, and she needs to run. And so, she runs away.
There. She runs, crying and shouting. She takes her phone. She says, "I see crosses." She's going to tell his name, but she's too late. She suffocates. She trailed off no sooner she had inhaled. And then a bump. 1, 2. Blood squirts. There's blood everywhere. She's all beaten so badly.
As an ex-serviceman, I saw a lot of blood and was in many terrible situations. But even at war, people weren't as cruel as this beast who tormented the defenseless woman. To understand who the real murderer was, the psychics go to the site where Alina made her last call to her mother.
Constant buzz in my ears. It's like emptiness.
Are you unwell?
My God, this is awful. She suffered so much. She tries to hide the phone. She's afraid to lose it because she's afraid she won't be found and saved. Oh God, she's shouting out. She's shouting out. She's calling. She's screaming. She's shouting, "Mom!"
I still hear her calling because I heard it over the phone. I can't forget it no matter what I do. She was waiting for me and she was calling me, hoping I would find her.
Different punches and kicks, and one of them is a massive thump, like with a club, or something long, like a pipe. An iron pipe.
A metal pipe. The people who helped with the searching found it here.
And there are 2 murder weapons and 2 men. There were 2 of them.
According to Alina's relatives, she spent several years learning martial arts, and she was very fit. As such, she would have probably escaped from one attacker.
If you take the arrested man, he's frail. And she would have easily dealt with him.
She is lying down. She feels very bad, but she's not dead yet.
Alina was taken away from here. The psychics and Alina's family go to the site where Alina's body was found. The representative of the local self-defense unit has also arrived. He was the first to find the body in the field during the search.
She was lying here, like this. The bag on her head was tied with duct tape, and her wrists and ankles were duct taped too.
They put the plastic bag on her head because the murderer was afraid to stain his car's interior with blood. I feel she was undressed.
She was lying like this, naked.
First, I thought that your daughter's murder was of a ritual nature, but now I see the murderers wanted to rape Alina.
By the time of the investigation, the results of the autopsy weren't ready yet, so nobody knew whether Alina had been raped or not. But before the episode aired, we were sent a copy of the autopsy results. According to it, There was sperm in Alina Dyakova's body.
Now, I see the two men bring your daughter here in the car.
A cigarette smoldering, smoke rising. He dropped the cigarette and they left.
Indeed, the investigators found a cigarette butt next to Alina's body. It was taken for the examination, and the sample of the saliva found on it was compared to that of Mikhailo, the suspect. They didn't match.
Wait, it wasn't dark then, and the sun was rising. Alina was brought here in the morning.
She spent the whole night in a tiny, enclosed, dirty, dark, and cold room. I smell dampness. A white house and a small window and a blue frame.
Can you show it? Can you find this house?
I think my jinns can show the way. We've got to go straight. There is a cafe or a store next to the house in which they kept your daughter. And I hear a dog barking. Your daughter heard it too before she died. Now turn left. The clairvoyants enter the village. They feel the murderers kept Alina somewhere here. Wait. Here. Is it the store?
Let's get outside.
I feel it was here. This house. This is where Alina was kept before she died. Is anybody home?
I said stop it. Hush. Sit.
Could you tell me, please, who lives here?
Mikhailo used to live here.
What are you doing here?
I'm looking after my friend's home.
This man's name is Dimitro, and he lives next door. Suddenly, the psychics noticed the white car in the yard. Alina's murderer drove a white car. Could it be the same car Alina got in on the night of her murder? Why was Mikhailo arrested?
They claim he murdered a girl.
Is it the same Mikhailo?
The suspect?
At that moment, I remembered the cue my book had given me, the hand with the cross. Could it be a tattoo? Tell me, does Mikhailo have a tattoo on his hand?
He does.
Is it a cross?
Yes.
Does this mean the man detained by the police is really guilty? But if the psychics are right, he didn't commit the crime alone. Who is the second murderer? Can we come into the yard to work?
Just a moment. Let me tether the dog.
I feel Alina's energy. This is where she was tied and then raped.
The lid of the casket. Here is your daughter's casket. I can't be in here. I feel sick. I need to get out. It's unbearable.
It was awful to look at the shed, knowing my daughter died in it.
Tell me, do you feed the dog?
Well, yes.
My book tells me the murderer's hand feeds the dog. Did you see Mikhailo that day?
When?
When the young woman was murdered.
Of course I did.
You and he drank.
Do you mean you came to visit him and you drank alcohol together?
I had 2 shots. He invited me in to reconcile.
Tell me, what time were you in this house?
It was 6:30 or 6:40.
In other words, roughly 90 minutes before Alina disappeared, Mikhailo was at home drinking, and Dimitro was with him.
Did he have any other guests? Did you see anybody else?
There were his ex-wife, his girlfriend, and his kids.
All right, so it means you and him were the only men there, right?
Yes.
And you both were in the house, weren't you?
What happened after you had the 2 shots with Mikhailo?
He told me, "Bro, let's go get more vodka and something to munch."
And you went with Mikhailo to buy more vodka, didn't you?
I didn't want to go with him, so I went home. It was 7:15.
And an hour later, Alina's mother called her to find where she was. It was when she was at the cemetery, trying to flee from her murderers.
Can anybody confirm that?
I live alone.
The detained suspect has a family, but my card showed me that the murderer was lonely. Dimitro lives alone.
But there is no evidence that Dimitro was involved in the murder, and there are no witnesses who could say that he was home at the time. I have one more question. Did you know Alina?
No, I didn't even know her name.
I feel you're lying. You did know her. Your work connected you.
Well, I saw her often. I'm a plumber at the regional hospital. I've worked there for 6 or 7 years, so I saw her there. I saw her quite often, as my job is to check piping in the wards and rooms.
In other words, she knew you, and you knew her. Is that right?
Well, yes.
Are you trying to say you didn't know her name, even though you worked at the same place? I see he's lying.
I wasn't there. I didn't go anywhere. Why are you blaming me?
Dimitro, your reaction is very suspicious. Why are you so nervous? Did anybody blame you for something?
Since the man had no alibi on the night of Alina's death, I carried out my own investigation in relation to him. I asked the villagers, and I was shocked to hear what they told me.
He's not simply aggressive, he's mental.
According to his neighbor, once Dimitro got drunk and attacked another villager who refused to lend him money. Moreover, it turned out that a day before the murder, Dimitro and Mikhailo had a row.
I only know they were drinking together. As far as I know, Dimitro began harassing Mikhailo's stepdaughter. She's about 15, if I'm not mistaken. Her mother was shouting loudly.
This is she, the girl who escaped from the beast.
It's yet another proof that it wasn't a problem for him to attack a defenseless young woman.
We're only saying what we feel. Accusation is the job of the police.
Please press the police. Do anything to make them resume the investigation. Not just one of them has his hands bloodied.
Thank you for responding and helping us.
I am genuinely grateful. Now we know the answers. And we heard the truth we needed to hear.
It's hard to comprehend everything that happened to Alina Diakova.